In the Judeo-Christian tradition, glory denotes the manifestation of God's presence visibly displayed in light, thunderbolts, fire, and brightness. For example, the transfiguration of Christ on the mount with Moses and Elijah portrays the glory of God in a transformed human body. But glory can also be expressed in less dramatic manifestations. Most often, it is the little things, the small kindness or generosity of spirit that brings the light of God's love into the world. Created in the image of God, souls can experience divine glory in various ways as the mind and body become spiritualized and raised in vibratory energy. We have already encountered this concept previously with the lesson of the cross and the crown of glory being the halo depicted in art throughout the ages. The lesson on the destiny of the body also touched on this theme of enlightened being, shining forth as the body evolves a vehicle for soul development. With the process of spiritual awakening, there is a greater manifestation of glory. The aura takes on a radiant quality that shines forth to those attuned to its energy. The glory of God shines forth in nature. The brightness of the sun, the glow of the moon, the twinkling of stars, each fulfilling its own purpose in its own way, proclaiming the glory of the creative force or creative energy called God. Thus all of nature works together harmoniously in cooperation. Likewise, each individual soul can fulfill its purpose for being and show forth the glory of the divine within. As with nature, glory shines forth from the practice of human cooperation. Being selfless in service to others expresses the glory of God in daily relationships. Glory may be experienced as the peace and joy that comes from putting others first, setting self aside. Glory is rejoicing in truth and goodness. Yes, glory feels good. It feels great, and for the right reasons. Glory is the reward that comes from right living, practicing a spiritual ideal, being a channel for God's love flowing into the world for the benefit of others. Glory is a natural experience for the soul attuned to its source, just as natural as the shining of the sun, the glow of the moon, and the twinkling of stars. Sometimes a concept can be more easily grasped by considering its opposite. In this instance, consider the expression of vainglory. A dictionary definition of vainglory indicates excessive elation or pride over one's own achievements and abilities, boastful vanity, empty pomp or show. You get the picture. It is so easy to spot in others, but much harder to recognize within our own selves. Put another way, vainglory is simply self-glorification, the expression of selfishness. But the elated mood of ego indulgence does not last. The self-deception of vainglory is a dead end in terms of soul development in the search for God. To be sure, vainglory is the way of the world and a natural fact to the materially minded. That is why the earth is a classroom with required lessons in the meeting of self in vainglory. You've heard the expression, no pain, no gain. It's not just for exercise enthusiasts. In soul development, there is no glory without suffering. We were introduced to this concept in the cross and the crown. In that lesson, the emphasis was more on understanding evil and suffering in the human endeavor. As noted, the halo, or crown of glory, is the reward for enduring suffering through a spiritual ideal. Now, with continued progress in our search for God, we still struggle, but the emphasis has shifted to the experience of glory as the outcome of spiritual awakening. It is not vainglory or reveling in self. Rather, it is the joy and exultation that comes from fellowship in the abiding presence of the divine. It is the growing confidence in our destiny as triune beings, physical, mental, and spiritual. For glory is our destiny as companions and co-creators with God.